Kia ora e te whānau and welcome to Proud Conception. I'm your host, Rachel Gresson, proud mama to two beautiful boys and wife to an incredible woman. That's my rainbow roll call, who makes up my family. And this podcast is about the many ways LGBTQ plus families come to be. The path to parenthood isn't always straightforward. And for queer families like mine, it can be especially complex, often full of medical intervention, legal hurdles, logistical challenges, and deeply personal decisions. My wife and I have walked some of those paths to have our boys, but the genesis for this show came well before my first son was even born. A friend of mine and her wife had just gotten pregnant, and she generously told me everything about how it happened. The first fertility clinic appointment, choosing a donor, using the sperm in a clinical process, financing the treatment, talking to extended family about their plans, all of it. And I remember thinking, if she hadn't shared all of those details with me, the things I wouldn't have even known to ask, I might never have figured out our own path to building a family. That conversation lit the way for me, and this podcast is about expanding that light and conversation to more people so no one has to build their family in the dark. This season on Proud Conception, you'll hear stories from parents who've grown their whānau through IUI and IVF, surrogacy, adoption, donor conception, every way you can imagine, and maybe a few you haven't. Every few episodes will also bring in experts like legal specialists, fertility doctors, psychologists, genetic counselors, and more to help unpack the systems and ideas shaping our families. This project is deeply personal to me. I remember when my first son was just 1 month old and I was lying on the bed next to him, just looking at him, and I had this overwhelming sense that one day he'd want to know where he comes from. And I knew then, it's my responsibility to help him understand his story, to give him the tools to make sense of who he is. So I opened a voice memo on my phone and recorded the first draft of his origin story. We still tell that same story in our house today. I believe there's huge power in the language we use around our families. How we talk about where we come from, who we belong to, what makes us who we are, and what makes us a family. I don't have all the answers, and I am certainly not a perfect parent, but getting that language and understanding of a family is something I want to explore together here on Proud Conception. If that sounds like a journey you want to be part of, welcome. Thanks for listening. I can't wait to share these stories with you and to grow this community together. Episodes will be out bi-weekly on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and you can also find us on Instagram at Proud Conception Pod. Thanks for being here. I'm so glad you are. This is Proud Conception. Let's give voice to the many ways our families come to be and shape a world where our little ones feel seen, safe, and proud.